Welcome to Gen X Rated Thursday edition. How we doing, guys?
Good. Getting ready for some more snow, possibly.
That's what I hear.
Here in the Midwest.
We haven't gotten rid of the snow we have.
I know.
Yeah. I guess I'm all right. I think we should switch our podcast to a medical podcast and all the shit that can happen to you 15 minutes before a show goes on. Because I almost bled out flossing 15 minutes ago. And I floss all the time. And then I pulled a rhomboid muscle brushing my teeth. Now, every time I take a deep breath in, it fucking hurts. You know that muscle that fucking back there when you breathe in? I was brushing my teeth 15 minutes ago. And then walking down the stairs, I screamed, ow. And Melissa was like, what? And I'm like, my fucking Achilles. And so I don't know what the fuck's going on with me today. But and she just gave me 2 Motrins. So we'll see how we do.
Okay.
I'm all fucked up. In 15 minutes, I'm all messed up. So
do you use floss or tape?
I use floss, and you guys are Melissa thinks this is absolutely disgusting, but I have enough room in between my teeth that I've never had a lot of cavities in my life. But I can also tie the floss into, like, I can triple knot it and just really fucking scrape my fucking gums. Like, I can get it through every tooth. I just knot the floss up until it's, a big knot, and I can get it basically through almost every tooth. I still have my wisdom teeth. I can get back there, and I can scrape fucking last night's steak right out of there. Whoosh! And,
you're like the dude from Kingpin.
Like I said, I almost bled out. I pulled a rhomboid, and I almost blew out my Achilles walking down the stairs. So it's Wow. There was a reason I lived in a ranch for a few years, for fuck's sake. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Ranches are very popular with Gen X. I'm
fine. The Motrin's kicking in, and I've got my Waterloo, but they haven't sent me my free case yet because they haven't started endorsing the show yet. So,
is that blueberry lemon?
One of these days.
Blueberry lemonade?
Blackberry lemonade.
Oh, big fan.
What are you drinking?
I'm rocking the cherry limeade. Big fan.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Black cherry can't be beat.
How many Waterloos do you think you go through a week? Guesstimated. The family.
Start with a day.
Okay. Yeah, a day.
I'm usually good for 2 or 3 when I come visit.
Okay.
I'd probably say 5.
Easily, right?
I have a problem. Yeah.
They're hard to say no to.
I asked Siri 3 days ago because Melissa's like, "Why don't you drink some regular water?" And I'm like, "Hey Siri, does sparkling water hydrate you the same as regular water?" And Siri was like, "Fucking right, it does, bro." And I was like, "Leave me alone. Give me a fucking sparkling water, honey."
Sponsored by Waterloo.
Exactly. I don't know what the carbonation does to your teeth or anything, but
good point. The enamel.
Just know this: the smartest thing to do when you brush your teeth, and I literally have never had a cavity, and I never even wore a mouthpiece. I have all sorts of little micro cracks in my teeth, but they never morphed into anything really. They're just little cracks. But you don't eat or drink anything a couple hours before you go to bed, and brush your teeth when you get up in the morning before you eat or drink anything, especially acidic, and your enamel will stay intact. But if you start drinking coffee and then you go brush your teeth, you're gonna scrape all your enamel off. So yeah, just give your enamel time to harden after you eat, or brush up, or give it a couple hours, and then you're welcome. You're welcome for that, folks.
The dental report.
Don't some of those whitening toothpastes ruin your enamel too?
It's pretty hard on your enamel. The whitening.
Whitening toothpastes.
Oh yeah, I've never really bleached my teeth or done the strips, or 20 years ago I tried it, but it hurt my gums so bad, it made my teeth hurt so bad, I stopped doing that shit. So.
That's exactly right.
I did it once. I got like the mouth guard that they put the stuff in, and you had to and it made my teeth hurt. So
yeah, that shit's not good for you when your teeth feel like that. So
it's not.
Anyway, enough with the dentist shit. I'm gonna be all right. I just need this motion to kick in.
Look at these teeth. I could do a whole thing on the dentist stuff.
I'm just telling you. Yeah, we will sometime. We'll talk about dentistry. I actually wanted to be a dentist. I thought when I was in high school, but I don't have a STEM brain, so that shit wasn't gonna happen. But I thought I could do this. I don't mind cleaning teeth, and I like messing with my own teeth thing. I like taking the little scraper thing, the little metal thing, and scraping my own fucking teeth, scraping the tartar. So
now think about putting your hand in some guy's trench mouth or lady. I mean,
yeah.
It's a tough job.
Dude,
Yeah. Much better.
I mean, I brush and floss before I go. I brush and floss before I go to the dentist, so I'm prepared. I don't want to go in there being the stinky bastard they laugh at.
Yeah. A mouth doesn't smell much different than a locker room, bro. So I mean, what's the difference? I'm telling you, I was in a dirty business too. It was pretty filthy.
Fair point.
Bloody, pussy, muddy, gross.
Dude, do you remember that giant?
Go ahead.
You remember that giant toenail that was ripped out that was laying in the middle of the aisle?
I remember whose it was. It was a tight end's toenail.
Dude, that was disturbing. It was yanked out by the roots.
Oh my God.
It looked like a dead cicada.
Did you guys yell at them to pick it up or no? Or how did that whole thing go down? Someone was mad about that shit being on the floor. Was that Chuck Smith or?
It might have. I remember I had to pick it up.
Was mad.
Oh, you had to pick it up? But someone got mad that they just left their shit on the floor. Yeah. So how the fuck do I remember that? And I can't remember my birthday. But yeah, he was pissed.
Oh, dude, that thing was disgusting. It looked like a cicada. It was giant. It was like the size of my thumb.
All right. Moving away from
NFL players have to have the worst feet. Let me just say that. You got your feet get stomped on. They get twisted. They are broken.
I think NBA players actually have the worst feet, but we might be number 2.
That could be.
So, yeah, they have terrible feet.
All right.
We got a picture of a fire up. So Rob he's moving us on.
I'd like to jump to the LA fires.
Sure.
We've got 5 people dead. I'm sure a lot of people missing. Over 2,000 structures have been destroyed. It's a freaking mess. And I find it a little upsetting that everybody that was in bed with these politicians, James Wood, now wants to come out and blame these guys for this wildfire and lack of water, etc. I mean, you're in California. Uncle Bill, when was the last time they had rain?
Was it May of this past summer, or was it the May before that?
It's been at least 8 months, and you're going to have water shortages. And when you have Tom Selleck watering his lawn saying "fuck you," it's not helpful.
Yeah, I'll pay the fine. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, again, not to bring up the fucking orange blob, but he's going after Gavin Newsom, and nobody seems to be going after the guy in Florida as their state goes under fucking water. I don't understand why everything's got to be so political, especially
and also
these tragedies are happening. Go ahead.
Yeah, you also had the Santa Ana winds. I mean, you had like 99 an hour mile winds that it dries everything out. It was like a tinderbox.
Yeah. They don't know how it started, but I think we've seen enough of these wildfires where somebody's just being an asshole, or maybe they didn't put out their campfire, or maybe they didn't have an ashtray in their car that they could stamp out their smoke.
Or maybe it was PG&E.
That's quite possible.
That's happened before too. So yeah, hard to say. But Trump loves to point the finger.
I'm sure one of the two of you set up a GoFundMe page for James Wood because he didn't have insurance on his house. Am I correct about that? Because
you are not correct.
Climate deniers deserve sympathy.
I set up a Go Fuck Yourself page. How about that?
Okay, I was wondering because I saw him tearing up a little bit on CNN, and I wasn't watching CNN. I was doom scrolling. Obviously, I was doom scrolling, and I saw him tearing up with one of the female hosts, and I was just like,
and his comment was that yesterday we were in our pool swimming. I mean, it's not the reality for everybody to be like, oh my God, I was in my pool yesterday, and now look. So
he let you know that 12 hours earlier he had a swimming pool, but he doesn't have insurance for it, so now he no longer has a swimming pool, and it's not going to be rebuilt without a helping hand, let's say, because who knows? I mean, today's market, he doesn't have the cash to just up and rebuild.
Well, and
in today's
he's not getting that A-list cash either.
With, materials prices, I mean, that house is going to cost a lot more to rebuild. He could just buy a prefab. I mean, if he owns the land, just plop it on. I don't know what the codes are, or
It's not our problem to solve for James
could
Wood.
erect a
He's
yurt.
not a very nice
Yeah.
person.
Well, he's not the only one that lost a house. Paris Hilton
Agreed.
lost a house. Billy Crystal lost a house. I believe Jamie Lee Curtis was on a talk show last night, and she said, "My neighborhood's on fire." I saw Steve Gutenberg
Trying to move people's cars.
Yeah, but they weren't leaving their keys in the ignition, so he was pissed off. And I was like,
And then what happened?
Yeah, did you see the bulldozers?
Yeah,
the bulldozers came out and started moving cars.
Mm-hmm.
The reporter didn't know who Gutenberg was. Police Academy Police Academy, for those that don't know, please go at least watch the first Police Academy because it was fantastic.
Or the Simpsons video from that one episode where what was the organization? Mr. Burns' secret organization. I don't know. They sang about
Gutenberg was in that episode.
Who makes Steve Gutenberg a star? We do.
Okay.
The Stonecutters. It was the Stonecutters.
Yeah.
Oh, how many years ago was that?
Every
20,
Oscar
25?
night, we do.
It's been a while.
Simpsons has been on far too long.
So circling back to the water shortage in California, and the reason why people like James Wood upset me is because they're so anti-bureaucracy. They're against the government. They don't want to do any preemptive work towards maybe not having these wildfires. And this husband and wife, the Resnicks, own most of the water rights throughout Southern California. It's pretty impressive. They have the largest almond and pistachio farm. Some of these brands I'm sure you're aware of: Halo Cuties, pistachios, any of the palm products, and of course, Fiji water. Where would we be without bottled water?
What? It's not from Fiji?
It's not from Fiji.
These two use more water on their farms than every house in LA.
Yes.
And my wife just read me a Mother's Jones article from a few years back where, I mean, Linda Resnick's a genius. She's a marketing genius. This lady really knows how to make money. She's been making money her whole life.
Yes.
But it's weird how they think they're philanthropic, and they're really full of themselves. If you read this article from Mother Jones, they're super full of themselves. They think they're super special, and they're just robbing California blind of water. Not only that, they can save water, buy it, I don't know, like $28 an acre, and they can sell it back during droughts for like $200 a foot acre or something. So they're making money off of misery and drought as well. And it's California's water. It's another county's water. It's insane.
Well, it's insane. And much like healthcare, I just want the sign up now says water is a human right. I don't think anybody should have control over the water. And let's go back to The Simpsons when Mr. Burns blocked out the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. This isn't cartoon land.
And you know what? He got shot for it.
And people
after we fight all the water wars, there will probably be a sun war. Who fucking knows? I mean, we'll be dead. But yeah, everybody. I mean, they've been saying for the last 20 years the next. I think Robert Reich. A lot of people have been saying the next big fight is going to be over water rights, and they're right, and it's happening right now. And the smart ones cornered the market. They played monopoly early, way back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. Because they're older than all of us, and they've got all the fucking land, and they've got all the tricks of the trade and the lawyers, and I don't know, man. If I'm a really rich person in all these, if I'm a State Farm CEO or vice president, if I'm stealing all the water from an entire state, there's a reason they took Luigi off the air. I mean, there's a reason they buried that guy. Because these rich people are terrified that they're doing such horrible things to all of us that there might be more Luigis out there waiting for all of them. Because all these billionaires are fucking tainted. They're all full of shit.
Well, dude, and like the Resnicks are old. Why don't you start giving some of that back? What, you're going to take it with you? You're going to have all your servants thrown in the coffin with you?
According to Linda, she does. But you know, it's all tax write-off bullshit, and it's pet project bullshit, and it's virtue signaling bullshit. It's not real. They're not helping anybody. They're just
and this does come back to bureaucracy and government as well. I feel like, and this was ancient times ago, but coming from Pittsburgh and Cleveland as well, the Carnegies, they were forced to, the Mellons, they were forced to give money back. And the money they gave were to the arts,
Libraries.
to libraries.
Carnegie Library.
Correct. It's an amazing library, but they gave to things that we just don't seem to care a whole lot about funding anymore. Instead, we're taking books out of libraries. We're discriminating against what books should be burnt. Go into a library sometime. If you go into a good one, I was just in Nashville. It was amazing. I will say that Dolly Parton gave them $90 million of her own. Props to Dolly. She's still amazing and a giver. Go into some of the other libraries and it's sad, and they're not useful. It's hard to use, and seeing empty bookshelves is just very strange.
It is, yeah. I mean,
I
libraries
think a bunch of rich people. Oh, go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say, libraries are important.
They are.
And I have to confess, I used to steal books from the library when I was a kid. I hope.
That's good. Well, that makes
the library police.
You know what, dude? That's a good kind of trouble, because that means you're a fucking reader. Ain't no billionaires kids stealing books from the fucking library. Believe you me, they're watching porn on the internet, and then and then doing their art projects and their spirographs and shit, and then calling themselves creative and in ska bands. So it's all right, man. I don't mind book stealers. At least
I just don't want this guy coming after me.
This guy shows up at your door, funny boy, fancy pants.
Joy boy.
That's Seinfeld, right? That's a Seinfeld.
I do like living fast and loose.
I vaguely remember that episode of what I remember Seinfeld. So
that was classic.
And I did, for the record, I did not draw peepees and wee-wees in the books.
Thank you, Billy.
That's good. What'd you do with all those books after you read them? Did you send them back like years later, or give them to someone else to read, or?
I don't remember. That's a good question.
Or did you just burn them because you committed a crime and you should be in prison? Right?
No, but you know what? I had a lot of books, and I moved a lot, through college and even like after college, and I had them in storage at a place I was living. I went to Australia for a bit, and I left my books in storage at a place I was living, and I came back, and the landlady said that there'd been a fire and all my books were burned. Like,
oh, wow.
I don't see any other damage here, and they were up in a closet. How did a fire start in the closet? I never got a plausible explanation for that, but yeah, I thought that was pretty lame. It was a bunch of books. I had a lot of good books.
You did have some good books.
Was your landlady hot?
No, she was ancient.
She was a very mean old lady who, for whatever reason, felt like she lived across the street, and she felt like she could come in whenever she wanted to.
Yeah.
So why didn't you just kingpin her ass?
Well, no, but we did. We did get drunk one night after being out at the bars, and we peed on her front porch.
Good for you.
Oh my God! Statute of limitations over. It's all good.
Dude,
Uncle Bill's go-to.
I had a gas stove in there, and there was a gas leak one day, and I had called the gas company, and they were going to come over and red tag it. And she's like, no, don't do that. I'm going to send my nephew over. He'll fix it. This guy comes over, and he's looking for the gas leak. He's about to light a match.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what are you doing?
I would have ran out of
No.
that house.
And luckily the guy from the gas company showed up, and they shut it off. They red tagged it. They had to come out and fix it. But I'm like, this is insane.
That's a little crazy.
But it was a great neighborhood. It was close to everything. And yeah, she was terrible.
I've yet to meet anybody that lives that went to college, that lives in the accommodations the current kids live in. The shit they live in is real nice and shit. The shit we lived in were fucking hovels.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably moved every year. I had to find a place every summer because I never wanted to go home. I slept on floors. I slept next to a dude named Scott Nygaard that had a fucking stack of porn to the fucking ceiling. Yeah, dude, it was debauchery just to be in college, to find a bed, to find a space, because you were literally trying to pay as little as possible in rent. So it was not like that anymore.
Slumlords too, which every time I went to get my deposit back, there wasn't one.
Oh my God. We had that one place. We couldn't even move in for a day because there was so much shit left behind.
Stack of beer cans. It was very impressive.
But
did you guys ever live together? You two?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For how long?
2 different places, right? the nice place over in Shadyside
Super nice. Yeah.
with our buddy Daryl. And then we had a place in another part of Shadyside that was not that nice, but
No. I
this
had a
place was,
dog, so the issue was I had to go to a place that would take a dog.
yeah.
They're not always as
So
nice.
And this place was a
Rob knew
wreck.
Rob knew all about like therapy dogs before anybody. Because has Rob ever been without a fucking dog? I am starting to think you actually need a dog, dude.
I probably do.
Yeah,
I did. I went to college. I left the dog with my mom and stepdad, and they
Mm.
proceeded to take care of the dog. My stepdad probably didn't forgive me for quite a while. The dog chewed the chair. The dog didn't like him. He'd go after the dog with a vacuum cleaner. And
He liked
eventually,
chasing
Yeah,
around
boomers
with the
only
vacuum
buy
cleaner,
one
though.
share, and it's supposed to last forever. So you probably really pissed them off by when your dog.
it was
died.
bad.
Oh,
I
that's funny.
blame the dog.
Oh, they
But
had
then
nice
were like,
furniture. He was a furniture guy.
yeah, and they were like, take the dog. We've had
Sure.
enough. So I
Yeah.
did.
That dog lived for a long time.
It did. Probably too long. I
How-
made it
how-
all the way
what-
to California, frankly.
What number dog are you on in your life? Do you know how many dogs you owned? You have no idea. Okay.
You had Samantha, Sabina, Shay,
I know, but you
and
also
Callie.
you could go even back, is what he
Well,
said.
when you were a kid,
Fritz, Snoopy.
you had a Snoopy.
Yeah. We had a Snoopy, and that was when we were really little. And
Snoopy went to the farm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was what they told you. That's a Friends episode. Ross thinks his dog's at the farm, having a good time, running
Well,
around. with a sheep.
it took Uncle Bill 3 days to realize the dog was gone.
hey, where's the dog?
Not such a big deal.
Dude, you can get shit past Bill though. That's not a big huge giant
Yeah.
surprise.
Even young
So,
Bill.
he
Yeah.
figured it out eventually.
I was busy building models in my
That's all right.
room.
So moving on from dog,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to talk really quickly about the ski patrol that went on
Mhm.
strike in Utah. There were 200 Utah ski patrol. Vail Resorts owns Park City. They own a bunch of 42 different places in 3 continents. Pretty big company, and the strike was successful, which is the reason why I'd like to bring it up. Those guys held out, and they made they made them, come to what was fair to them. There were some photos that we're putting up of the ski resort with people just in giant lines. I mean,
Whoa.
not only for safety, but you got to get people on the lifts, off the lifts. I think they underestimate what these workers did. The part that I found super interesting was that even these people in these mass lines were saying, pay these workers. They weren't mad at
But
them.
that's because they were in mass lines, and underestimate, I would say, is the wrong word. I just don't think they give a fuck. I mean, a lot of these places where housing was affordable for these people for 50 fucking years, now these people are living in hotels and cars because everybody's renting out their place as an Airbnb, and the rents are outrageous. They don't
Yeah,
give a
it's
shit about
expensive.
these people. This is why, again, once again, this is why athletes are in unions.
Sure.
Because you're much stronger negotiating with your lawyers from a union than you are trying to negotiate yourself.
And some present examples, you had the Boeing strike that ended. You had dock workers, which I know they were going to try and use that for the campaign for Trumpy Bear, but that was never a thing. Even the video game performers, along with the UAW, as Uncle Bill points out, sticking together for a cause can work, but everybody has to be in. And that's where we
And
kind of
let's
get.
not forget, all the unions disintegrated in the early 2000s. The SEIU went their own way, and the Teamsters went their own way, and they're all slowly but surely starting to come back together. I think the SEIU just rejoined with the ACL, or is it the ACL-CIO or
AFL-CIO?
AFL-CIO.
Yeah.
So after they split with them in 2005. That's a big deal because the SEIU is like the biggest union in the country, I think. So they just made them, they just merged and got even bigger, and they're starting to get along again. And it's highly important that the Teamsters get their shit together and rejoin these people too, because negotiating power, these billionaires, again, you said the last pod, they have more money than how many people in America? Some of these billionaires, their combined wealth, like 13 guys have more wealth than all of us or some shit, or it's
Sure.
just
Well,
Yeah.
and even the 813 billionaires, double what the rest of us have anyway. So it's a bit offensive.
Okay.
I did want to say that it's comparable to, like, here we have Washington University, and these teaching assistants can't afford housing. So yes, they have a top 2 endowment here at WashU, more building than you could want. But are they concerned about building, economically sound housing for teaching assistants? Not really.
What's the
So
They're
they're
building
tuition
luxury
at
dorms
WashU?
for the students.
So WashU
What's the
comes into
tuition at?
75.
So 75, and people can't afford housing. Tuition
No.
75.
No.
What?
Yes, tuition 75,000. I'm not talking about students. I'm talking about
No, I know. I'm saying the people that they pay can't afford housing.
Correct.
Wow,
Correct.
that's crazy.
So they just try and buy up more areas and go into neighborhoods, and they'll start putting up their apartments. Not necessarily for them. It's student housing, and as you said
Luxury
earlier
student
today,
housing.
they're fucking nice, real nice.
They're really nice. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
So, but you have to be able to afford it. It's one of the only colleges I've seen, or universities rather, where at the end of the year, big trucks come in and haul these kids' cars back to wherever they came from.
Well, and how about like at the end of the year when the kids throw away all that stuff and people come from all over the place because they throw away a lot of good stuff, right? So then didn't the university start having them put it in trailers and they locked it up?
Yeah.
Like these kids don't want this stuff. And it was nice stuff. It was like furniture, it was clothing, it was shoes.
Desks, lighting.
And the university in their arrogance decided, well, we don't want these people to have it. So they locked it up. It was ridiculous. I mean, that's just cruel. That's just being a dick because you can.
Sure. That's that's part of it. And sometimes you're too big to fail type of thing. And these guys never look back, and they don't remember where they came from. And they're not necessarily looking out for their educators, which maybe they should, because not everybody has tenure. I thought that would be an interesting lead into, we had talked about some NFL news about people getting fired. We talked about Mayo the other day, black coach that was fired after 1 year. I know Uncle Bill has some more information on that.
Yeah. So here's the thing, they knew it was going to be a rough year for them, right? Not a lot of talent on that team. He was a first-time head coach, longtime Patriot player. Seemed like a good fit. He and Kraft got along really well. In fact, he came up with a nickname for Kraft, Young Thunder, because he's got a young spirit. But, there were some, questionable decisions, use of timeouts or not using timeouts. But, there's a lot of coaches you can complain about that.
For sure.
Right. It's all part of the growing process. So I had read an article recently on The Athletic that posited that he may have been fired because of not off the field conduct, but just some of the things he said. He contradicted himself sometimes or made some statements that, people, and it was nothing egregious. It was just a guy that, was not used to being in that kind of spotlight. And it's a hard job. You go from being a player or a position coach to running the show. And dude, there's a lot of added responsibility. Like I remember my first day in Atlanta, our head coach, June Jones, was, a first-time head coach. He'd been elevated from offensive coordinator. And at the end of the first off-season practice, he left. He walked back into the facility, and I had to go and chase him because he forgot he was the head coach and he had to stand there and answer questions. So, it's a hard leap to make.
For sure. That's where a good staff can help.
It's a problem though. But the problem is all the coaches I've gotten fired the last decade after 1 year have all been black guys. That's the fucking problem. When everyone's running around going, all lives matter, do our fucking jobs matter? Because we get fired after a fucking year. Bill Belichick got 5 years in Cleveland before they fired him, and he didn't have Tom Brady. He got 5 years, and he wasn't great. So
one playoff season, right?
Yeah, a couple maybe. And this has been a frustration of black coaches for the last decade is once they do get their chance, it's usually at a team that's a shit sandwich team with no fucking quarterback. And then if they don't pull it off quickly, they're fucking gone. Look, man, you want to say all lives matter, then give fucking black coaches more than one fucking year to turn a program around. You handpicked Jared Mayo, dude. You knew the guy very well. You knew him as a former player. You knew him as a coach. And then you dump him out after a year acting like you didn't know how he was going to be as a coach. And you knew your team was going to be a shit sandwich. And what was his nickname again? What Thunder?
Young Thunder.
Young Thunder.
Oh, I wonder what they nicknamed him at the fucking wax shack when the sex slave was scrubbing his ass.
Little shooter.
But it wasn't Young Thunder. But whatever, dude. I mean, fucking
Old
guys,
dribbler.
these fucking billionaires do whatever they want. Rob was talking earlier about the fire stuff, about the mismanagement, and it's Democrats and it's Republicans. These
Absolutely.
and you saw how. And if you don't believe me, go doom scroll and look at Carter's funeral and look at how chummy fucking Obama is with Bush, and look at how fucking chummy he is with Trump.
With Trump.
And yeah, they're in a fucking exclusive club, but you shit on him fucking for 2 fucking years. And the guy was the birther guy, and your wife wouldn't even show up to the funeral because she fucking hates his ass. Just walk in there and fist bump his ass and sit the fuck down.
Well, and how about Pence even, gave the big how do to Trump? I mean, that guy tried to have
his
you.
wife didn't shake hands.
Trump won. Trump won. It doesn't fucking matter now. Trump won, and he got a 4-year vacation in between. So he's happy as shit to see the guy. Hey, dude, I'm glad I didn't fucking hang you, bro. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
So, sticking on topic, without getting onto the Orange Man, this was 1921. You had Fritz Pollard. He was the first black coach. I know Uncle Bill has some background on this, but he was a player coach. And this was, what did I say, 1921. To come to modern times, the first black coach that they had came in 1989. And I know that you guys all know who this is, if I can find him. Archell.
Coach Art.
Yeah.
So due to his Raider legacy, maybe that got him the second year that he was there. He was not a one and done, correct?
Correct.
No, Art had a decent record his first stint, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then they brought him back for a second stint and got rid of him pretty quickly after that. Once, but he was getting in some fight with some receiver, and I don't know. It was just that was a weird year for him. So he kept suspending their best receiver. I can't remember who it was, but it was a clusterfuck. That being said, he would have been he should have gotten as many chances as all these fucking retreads always get, because Art was a good coach. He was a good O-line coach. We got
and he was a good
him.
Raider.
Yeah, he was a good player. He was a good coach the first time out with the Raiders. Kind of blew up in his face the second time, but they got rid of him. I think they got rid of him the first time with a winning fucking record, believe it or not. So they don't do that. They don't do that to the other coaches. You got to quit doing this shit to black coaches.
And you talked about the retreads, because Pete Carroll's now going to get an interview with the Chicago Bears. I mean, these guys just keep circulating. I'm surprised that Coughlin isn't in the mix somewhere. And as Uncle Bill pointed out, maybe they'll dig up Dan Reeves and see if he's got a heart rate for this.
Dave is a former NFL coach. He could always jump back in. Yeah, dude. They get these owners get thoughts in their heads. They really, again, we talked about how these guys are lucky to be where they're at, but they really think they're special, and they did it themselves, and they've made themselves, and they're self-made. And it kind of makes them fucking idiots. And then they start talking about the size of their players' dicks, like Jerry Jones. And then you realize these motherfuckers aren't very bright. I think a linguist, I was, again, doom scrolling the other day, and some linguist was like, or not, he wasn't a linguist. He was talking about linguists have all determined that Trump talks at a third grade level. Dude's a billionaire.
He does.
Dude's a billionaire. Talks at a third grade, like legit, talks at a third grade fucking level. And our education system has been so fucking degraded that he really spoke to a lot of dummies out there. I'll say deplorable ass dummies. And it's not called you're dummies. The Republicans and Democrats alike don't want to fucking educate you. So you're dumb.
Sure.
You don't do civics. You don't know anything anymore.
And just like the wolves, you do this and then you don't know what the repercussions are down the road. And maybe a lot of people, Reagan, that started gutting public education are dead. So it doesn't affect him. But I'm sure there's lineage that are left. And you see
his
what
kids
we
hate
have.
him.
We really can't think critically, which is a major issue. We're not interested in necessarily the arts or reading or, literature in general.
They're not even teaching kids to read. They're teaching them just to recognize words.
It's insane.
We don't need art. AI will make all of our art. Don't worry about it.
And we're going to talk about this in the future, but Gene said it last podcast about AI and the amount of energy that it takes. Is it worth it? Personally,
AI and crypto.
I like to avoid the crypto too. Amazing amounts of energy, but AI, I mean, you try and use it when you can. Some people do in their writings. I find it off-putting. I don't find it realistic at all.
It's
and
very easy to spot.
And the amount of resources. I mean, listen to TikTok. All those shorts are done by AI, basically. And
there's certain words I can't pronounce.
It's crazy.
No, but what happens is though, when you do the TikToks over and over again, and you do them really fast, your brain literally gets used to that fucking stupid ass delivery they have, and you just kind of tune it out. Like, it's not human, but you kind of fake like it is. You kind of suspend your disbelief. And that's going to be the problem. That's where we're going to get with all sorts of subliminal bullshit, because all these billionaires own all these social media companies, and they've gotten rid of all their fact-checking departments. And it's going to be a problem.
It is a problem.
The young people are smarter than us, and they're smarter than the old people, and they're smarter than Elon Musk. And they're not interested. They'll find their shit in the right places. But they don't have resources. They don't have money. So who comes in with the money to help these young people win? And I guess that's where some of us Gen X come in, and a few generous boomers. I don't think there's a bunch out there left, because they're just all thinking about
they're going to spend it before they go.
Yeah. So part of our task is to educate and unify these upcoming generations so that they know that they do have the power. They may be told that they don't. You have 4 billionaires that are battling for all of this AI power that's going to come with it. And it's part of the reason why they're blowing Trump, frankly. Not to be so blunt, but there's reasons behind it. They're not doing it because they are afraid of him necessarily, or that they, worry about what he'll think of them. But he's got the power to really help them. And
billionaires don't worry about anybody, what anybody thinks about him. That's just not even a thought they fucking have. And no, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't fear him. They're fucking using him because they know he's a third grader. And they're hoping it works. And it's better, I guess, to attract someone with honey than vinegar or some things. Not flies that like fucking vinegar.
It's super off-putting.
It's very off-putting. Yeah. And it's interesting because, when I used to write for a Medicare audience, I had insurance clients that insisted I write at a 4th grade level. Yeah. My reasoning was, look, these people have lived to be 65. They're probably smarter than 4th graders, and they can figure things out. Nope. This is how you have to write it. And you had to run it through a whole thing that would add up, how many syllables the words were, how many words you used. And so I'd write this stuff, and they're like, it's still at a high level. I'm like, look, you're using words like prescription drugs, a lot of syllables, Medicare, lots of syllables, lots of letters. So I got around that by doing my word count, running it through by taking those words out.
Unbelievable.
Which, it's just ridiculous, dude. I mean, if you live long enough to be 65, you're probably smarter than a 4th grader. Now, a lot of people maybe aren't, but still, it was a pain in the ass.
You should have known this shit was coming when they got rid of cursive. When they got rid of cursive for our kids, we should have known they don't give a fuck about. I mean, just doing the basics. Just writing, reading, writing. They just don't care.
How much do you need to be able to read and write to push a mower? Not much.
Yeah.
A good cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And AI is going to do all, there's some CEOs out there bitching about how AI is going to do their job someday.
Good. Hey, feel the pain too.
Yeah. I mean, we're not talking about big time CEOs. We're talking about, some some mid-level CEOs. But yeah, they know it's coming for everybody because billionaires. What other 850 of them here in this country or some shit?
813. It might be overall in the world that we.
Oh yeah. But no. The estimate for overall is in the 3,000s somewhere, give or take, because those private families and 10 of them are Walmart fucking heirs, which is ridiculous. So I don't know, man. If you don't tax the rich, if you don't start giving people health care, and you start stealing their water, and then we have a few rolling blackouts, or you don't have energy, you have a disaster where can't help you, it's going to be absolute chaos. And I mean, we're already starting with this fire, but they don't give a shit. They'll move on to the next thing. Didn't we have a fire in Maui last year or some shit that we don't talk about anymore?
Yeah, where a lot of wealthy people came in and took that property.
Yeah, I got married in Maui, so I mean that place was beautiful, and there were lots of locals there when we got married in the '90s, and now it's I don't know, I don't know, these playgrounds for the rich. Mark Zuckerberg buying property. What do all these billionaires think is going to happen when the apocalypse comes? If they don't get nuked by another country just for shits and giggles, that all of their heads of securities are going to put bullets in their heads because they don't have what you have. You're going to trust some dude that you pay probably not enough because he could just kill you and give it up to all his boys. You think that shit's going to work out for you in the end?
Especially when your money is worthless.
I'm just saying. It's
at that point, they don't want your money. They want your resources.
Yeah.
We've done this shit where they say history repeats itself, and someone attributed something to Mark Twain about how history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. I don't think he actually said it. But yeah, it does rhyme. And here we are again doing this bullshit with billionaires, and they're beta billionaires, dude. They're not even like fucking big bald Rockefellers or Carnegies. They're just beta ass Elon Musk. Someone who got fucking stuffed in fucking lockers when he was a fucking kid. Just a little pussy. And people are just like, oh my God, he's a fucking genius. Tech bros. Oh,
not a genius.
Stop, dude. Stop. He's
getting tired of the tech bros commentary.
They're
little half zip vests.
But how much damage are they gonna do?
A lot, and they already are wreaking havoc.
Yeah, I mean, historically, the situations never end well.
But again, Trump already sick of Elon too. He's around too much. He's complaining to his staff like, this guy's always fucking around. Doesn't Elon have like 11 companies to run? Who the fuck runs these companies?
Somebody else.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
I'm sure. Well, and he fired everybody at X, Twitter.
Yeah, and he made such a display of that. He put them all on Zoom. Asked him a simple question. Whoop, you're gone. Up, you're gone. Like, it was so funny. Like people's lives. I just lost my job. I got to go home and tell my wife or girlfriend or lover that I don't have work anymore. Like, it's not that funny or entertaining based on whether you own a Tesla or not. That's kind of fucked up. And
I think he even stole the design for the fucking X and didn't pay that fucking guy.
Shocker.
I'm not even shitting you, dude. That's what billionaires do.
Shocking. They do. They think they're above it all.
Yeah, they do. It's fucked up. And that was the last time Elon was actually thin, by the way, holding that sink in fucking Twitter.
You remember that? And I thought, what a
fucking gained 100 pounds in like 4 months. So
all that ketamine.
That's what happens when you turn into a fucking asshole. You start getting fat. And he was already bald, but he got hair plugs, covered those fuckers up. And now he's on Mongiorno to lose the 100 pounds he lost after he bought Twitter. So Mongiorno's like a GLP 1 or 2 or some shit. It's along the lines of Ozempic. So there he is. Oh, there's that bald bastard. What is that? What is that penis on the screen? Is that Bezos's shit or?
I'm curious what he does with the one on the desk.
Yeah, right.
That's
a big one.
That's a big one. No, I mean, just these guys they're such betas. They're so soft. I don't know why people listen to them just because they have money.
Dude,
they have money.
Just terrible people.
Money.
They're soft and they're weird. And this guy uses a turkey baster to get his fucking women pregnant. He doesn't even do it himself. He's a weirdo.
Well, and they're cruel. They're just shitty people.
Yeah, even when they start off a little liberal, they end up, you get too much money. I mean, this guy seemed kind of decent when he was only worth like $12 billion. Now that he's worth $500 billion, he's just the biggest fucking prick in the planet. He's Darth Vader. It's fucking crazy how that works.
Well, it's like he relishes that role. It's like he loves being a Bond villain, a real life Bond villain.
It's too much money. Well, he's getting lots of attention too. and he only
Tons
got
of
negative attention when he was a kid. It wasn't. I mean, his father fucking hated him and thought he was an idiot.
His father called him a retard.
Listen,
Yeah,
is there a
I wasn't going to
correlation?
use the R word, but yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
come on,
Well, I
Billy.
was quoting it, so
Well, you better
it's
quote it
okay.
next time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, and the comparison is, you know, with him wanting to get all this attention, is we're back to Trump with all this attention again. I mean, that press conference was a fucking nightmare for anybody that has a couple of brain cells left. None of it was true. It was a giant waste of time. It's an ego stroke. And why would you even be watching it? It doesn't pertain to you. There's nothing in it for you. But he's back, and Musk loves the limelight too. He wants to be titled. He wants to be in everybody's business, but he doesn't care about you. Why care about him?
Yeah,
It doesn't have to affect your life necessarily.
If we just ignore these fools, you know.
Well, we will.
Like
But
fueling
again,
them.
remember, for the first time in history, Trump has a net favorability rating in the positive.
I can't
That's how
believe that.
bad Dems were at trying to
Messaging.
beat this guy. The guy's fucking more popular than he's ever fucking been. It doesn't make any sense, not to me, but
Me
you know.
neither.
It makes and let's see how long that popularity stays up. I mean, I saw eggs the other day for $11.
My wife bought an 18-pack of eggs at Giant Eagle the other day, on her 17th, for exactly $11. She comes home, she goes, "These fucking things cost $11." I'm like, "A 12-pack?" She's like, "No, 18." I'm like, "But still, holy shit!" So
The ones
that
I
just
saw
happened.
were a 12-pack.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, those Joe Buck prices. I got you.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, let's see how that plays out, or when these mass deportations don't take place.
Yeah.
But
'Cause, you know,
yeah, who knows what's going to happen there? Again, the guy, like Rob said, the guy's talking like cuckoo nonsense, just
dude, he's lost
weird
his mind.
shit. So he'll be doing that, I think, for 4 years while they
God,
fucking
no.
set Rome on fire behind his back. And you know, but he's a lame duck, dude. He's not coming back after 4 years. He can do whatever the hell he wants. It doesn't really
Maybe
matter.
not
So it
coming
doesn't matter
back,
how
but
popular he is.
He may not
maybe
leave.
not leaving is the issue.
No,
Anyway,
he's got to put Don Jr. in if he wants to go full Nazi.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, dude, people have no civics learning, I guess, but they still realize you can only run 2 terms since FDR. That's not going to change. I just,
you wouldn't think.
I mean, you know, he can say it all he wants, and he's willed a lot of things into existence just by saying them. That's why he says the stupid shit about Greenland and the Panama Canal, because this is what psychopaths do. They say it over and over again, and then pretty soon you got congressmen coming on going, "Hey, it is the Gulf of Mexico," and so it's man, it's messed up. All we can do is talk about it. And
What the president of Mexico say, Uncle Bill?
We're going to refer to it as Mexico's America.
Oh, nice.
Seems fitting.
Fair
She seems
enough.
to have her shit together, frankly. They want to send back our guns and our synthetic drugs, and they want to send our Americans back to where they came from.
Yeah.
So enjoy Mexico.
Oh, our
while you can.
expats? She's going to kick the expats out of the country?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There was talk.
There was talk.
She may keep the expats just because, but the other people.
I wonder
that
how
have-
many of them were MAGAs, because they did leave the country. But they might have left the country because of Democrats. I don't
Well,
even
yeah,
know.
a lot of them have been there a while.
The only
So-
reason I mentioned Trump before is his sentencing will be tomorrow in the New York case. So we'll see what
That's
kind of
Judge
stuff-
Merchan, right? Merchan, is that?
Is it?
Guaranteed no jail time, but he
of
should
course
get a
not.
hefty fine. Of course not.
A hefty fine. Has he even paid E. Jean Carroll a penny? Has he? I mean, he
No.
still hasn't paid Rudy Giuliani money. Rudy's going to be living in the actor's poorhouse in New Jersey here in hospice in a fucking year or two and die penniless. And still people haven't gotten the memo that billionaires don't give a fuck about you. I don't know why you do shit for them. Look at Rudy Giuliani as a case in point, but here we are. People are signing up in droves to destroy the country, thinking they're gonna be a part of this grand whatever shit show.
Well, and keep in mind, Rudy was held in contempt in the Georgia court for not turning over his assets for his liability case.
Oh,
Hey
yeah. And then
Rob,
he
you
stripped.
keep in mind that I saw that guy lay on his back and grab his junk when some Borat cameraman female came in and interviewed him and thought he was going to get some from a 20-year-old. These people are fucking twisted, dude.
And
So
disturbing. I mean, look at this guy. But as long as you have the flag pin on and the American tie, I guess you're okay.
Yeah,
just
well,
say
we shall
9/11
see.
1,000 times. That'll help.
We shall see, because every judgment has gone against him, and eventually that leopard will eat your face too. That's just how it works.
Well,
You know
yeah.
why? Because it's a leopard.
I'd
what
love
they
for him
do.
to pay. It's
I just
time.
want to go out people liking me. The day I die, I want to go, you know what? He's a good fucking dude. These
Yeah.
people just don't give a fuck. I mean,
They really don't.
We'll never be there, so I can never describe what it's like to be like Elon Musk. But
Dude,
this is universal. Once you get to a certain point, look at Obama literally playing grab ass with the motherfucker that said he wasn't even born in this country. That's fucking weird, dude. I'd be pissed. I'd be like Michelle. I'd be like, fuck, I ain't sitting next to this motherfucker. Michelle didn't even show up. I'm going to predict now that within 5 years, Michelle Obama's going to divorce Barack Obama's ass because she's tired of his shit. His narcissism is fucking off the charts, celebrating EC every year and playing grab ass with Bush and Trump after you guys are telling us to bash this guy and he's going to be the next fucking Hitler and shit. And then you're going in there and patting him on the ass like it's a fucking hockey game. I don't get it. I don't like it, but fuck both parties, man.
They're all in the club. They are all in the club.
To W, I think he was only giving props to Obama because he sat next to the guy that smells like a dirty diaper. Just saying.
It's possible. I mean, whatever. They're all happy that they're them because they just have all this fucking power and money and prestige and
but the man they came to pay their respects to, after he left office, dude, he went quietly and he built houses. He contributed. He did things. He solved diseases in Africa. This is a life well lived. Obama likes being the coolest guy in the room, parasailing with Richard Branson. Yeah, you've got a foundation, which is awesome. But dude, what are you doing? So you went out and you lectured black men about how shitty they were and the bad choices they make during the campaign. Wonderful. That was very helpful.
And effective.
Thank you.
And as a black man, I would have
sarcasm,
responded, how many houses did you own, Negro? I'd like to know. Like you up to 4, 5?
How many did you help build?
I'm in fucking the working class. Don't talk to me like I'm, fuck you, basically. These people are fucking clowns.
He's turned into a big disappointment. And this whole thing is his fault. He had to make that joke about Trump at the White House press dinner.
Hey, the Clintons also encouraged Trump to fucking run, as well as who else? Way back in the 80s, encouraged Trump to run.
Trump used to be a Democrat.
He did. He was pro-choice.
Oh yeah, he's Democrat, Green Party, Independent. He's been everything because again, he's transactional. He just wanted to run for president. He needed a party to do it in. But he's the Clintons didn't help with that. Again, Chelsea Clinton, Ivanka, friends going to each other's weddings and shit. These people have been in this club for a long, long time, and the only time they motherfuck each other is when they're directly competing with each other in politics. And then after that, they're fucking chummy again. And my eyes are just so open to big party politics now. We have two massive parties that say you only have a binary choice, but most people are registered independents. You see how they're gaslighting your ass? It's just fucking nonsensical. So,
for sure.
And that's what I am now, fucking independent, because fuck them. I'm only going to vote for fucking people that are going to do the right thing. I'm not going to vote for you just because you have a DB on your name. It seems silly to me at this point in my life.
I would agree. I'm with you on that stand. We had talked earlier about the NFL coaches' black comparison to white. I did have an interesting study that I saw when people applied for jobs, and I'm sure you're both familiar with this, using a white common name or a black common name, what the return rate was as far as getting callbacks. I won't go too deep into it. Obviously, they weren't calling back the black applicants. The interesting part to me was there was a Stanford study, the Stanford Center of Poverty and Inequality, and you sent out the same idea with the names, black names, white names, But the white people you sent out, some had felonies, some didn't. Some blacks had felonies, some didn't. The amount of people that were called back that were white people with felonies was more than double the black people that were called back without a felony, which to me was shocking.
All based on a name on an application or a resume that
Correct.
sounded black or
Correct.
sounded white.
That's right.
I worked with
look at the black, not to interrupt you, Billy, but if you look at the black named with a felony, non-statistical how many people got called back, obviously, right? Oh, you're black and you're a felon? Not doing it. But the white guy more than 3 times. What was it?
Dangerous, super dangerous, black guy.
Yeah, super predator.
Dangerous.
Yeah. So,
but dude, I've seen it before. I've seen the privilege before. I've seen, again, my former pot dealer from 20 years ago, who you guys know, who I won't fucking name, when he finally got popped for selling weed out of his bar, got caught with 4 fucking pounds.
Wow.
Turned to a wrestling buddy who was the DA here to get a shitty sentence. Or he got a good deal. He didn't end up doing fucking jail time or anything, even though it was a massive felony, and he did it in a bar, and he was able to fucking actually transfer the bar's name over into his wife's name, so he didn't even lose his fucking bar. Wow. But I'll never forget, this guy was livid about one thing, that he had to stand in line with common criminals, i.e. black people, and piss test every week. He was furious that people that got caught with dime bags, this motherfucker gets caught with 4 fucking pounds. And because he's a white guy, he's pissed off. He has to have a fucking piss test for a couple of years. And he has to stand in line with all these guys that got caught with a fucking joint in the street. This is the inequity we're talking about. When white men like Scott Jennings on CNN say they're being discriminated against, you literally need to shut the fuck up. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Because I've seen the most average dope dealer bitch about having to pee with black people, and the dude should have been spending fucking 10, 15 years fucking in prison getting his anus tickled by some guy named Bubba. But it didn't happen because he fucking knew somebody who fucking knew somebody who fucking knew somebody. So, knock it off with all this fucking there's no white privilege shit. Obviously, there's fucking privilege for fucking white men.
And most of this stuff doesn't pertain to anybody until they have an issue. I have a person that's close to me, without naming names, and they sent something through the mail to somebody, and that somebody didn't read how much to take, took too much, and freaked out, called 911, blah, blah, blah. And my buddy was worried that he'd get pinched because it's a felony, interstate sales, or at least sending it across state lines. And he couldn't believe how outrageous it was. And I'm like, you know how many people of color that were arrested for a joint or two? Like, now all of a sudden it's in your area and you're super concerned. This is outrageous. Where was the outrage when it wasn't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly. It's the same thing with this fire. James Wood is all about, climate denying. He doesn't give a shit. And now all of a sudden, tears because he's got to rebuild his pool. Well, I really feel for you.
It's not a problem until it happens to them.
That's right.
I was going to comment. So I worked with a guy, really talented, a writer, a creative director, had a lot of experience. His name was Marvin Johnson, white guy. Right? So he applies for a job with Walmart, sends in the resume, Marvin Johnson, never hears anything. So he thinks to himself, let's try a little experiment here. Sends it in with a different name, gets a call back right away. He's like,
he's a white guy.
He's, you know what? Screw you. I don't want to work with you anyway. But it kind of proves that, and not even kind of, it clearly illustrates that.
Well, until we all get on the same page that like we're all the underlings to these billionaires, it is going to take unions. It is going to take people putting aside differences and pushing for the shit we keep talking about: healthcare for everybody, wealth, equality, job opportunities for people that are willing to work. Great talk to get elected that we're going to send everybody that's actually willing to work and do your fruit picking and your roofing, et cetera, your hospitality business. But nobody's going to take those jobs. And when I see them talking like, oh, they're taking it away from Americans, it's kind of bullshit. And as you say, it's gaslighting. people aren't signing up for those jobs. They think it's beneath them. Meanwhile, our generation, at least in my house, I was told any job is a good job. If you work hard, be proud of what you do, whether you're flipping burgers, I think was the example. And let's not put anybody beneath us for doing work.
We flipped burgers. We drove an ice cream truck. I worked at Pier 1. We worked retail. I mean, nobody gave us shit. And we were, happy to have a job.
For sure.
I played football and people loved me.
And they still do.
I think I worked at Kenworth Trucking in high school for a couple of Iowa State alumni. And then I would have summer jobs during the football season. And then you guys also know that to make ends meet when I was in school, I worked at a titty bar named BJ's Lucky Lady. First as a bouncer and then as a bartender. But that was all against NCAA rules. But, you
had to eat, man.
I didn't have an NIL deal so they can all fucking eat shit. I had to eat. So I needed a job. I'd fly back from games and go straight to the titty bar and start bouncing or bartending because that was the only way to make money, dude. I mean, we lived when you're on full ride. Yeah, they're paying for your books, but they give you like $1,200 for rent and food back in the '80s for the semester and said make it last. So you want to talk about Gen Xers managing money? That was another thing we learned how to do right away. Even guys on scholarship, you get a Pell Grant or any scholarship money or anything. We had to manage that shit. You guys too. It was that's why we were always looking for such cheap rent and extra roommates, and we know how to eat. Like me and George Teotis, you guys know George. He's a trauma surgeon in Philly. We used to on Sundays get the best deal we could get at Taco Bell, but we would go buy our drink at a Big Gulp because it was only 39 cents. It was we would go to 4 different fucking spots to feast on Sunday, like fattening up calves so we could make it through the rest of the week when we were going hungry because we didn't have training table back then. You either took the training table, lived in a dorm, or you took the fucking money, you lived off campus and had to pay for rent and buy groceries, and that shit wasn't easy for any of us, scholarship, non-scholarship. So I can imagine what it's like today.
I remember there was a Rax at the student union at Pitt, and they used to have like that all-you-can-eat salad bar, and we would combine our money to get one. They'd give you a plate. We'd get one plate, and we'd share it.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh
yeah, dude.
And I remember this.
Now you go to jail today. They call the fucking cops on you.
Unless you're Donnie Trump Jr. getting that free lemonade.
Well, go ahead, Billy.
I just remember you could go to the ATM at this point. You could make a fake deposit, right? You put the envelope in, deposit $10, and then you could withdraw $10.
Oh, no shit. I didn't know
you could get something to eat until you had to cover that. But
we put in the empty envelope, so it was accepting it, but nobody's opening that up right away.
Right.
So you bought yourself a day or two to put that money back in if you could maybe if you're waiting for your next paycheck from your crappy job, or if you called mom and got some cash, but that's just what you had to do.
Yeah, definitely. We were all working poor, starving poor. It was, it's, but now the elites don't even want you to be able to do that. Again, Elizabeth Warren famously worked as a waitress and went and got degrees at Ivy League schools, had a job and went to school. Nobody can do that anymore. And that's when we need to actually literally get back to the guarantee, the promise that you can go to school and it's affordable and you can get a degree and you can have upward mobility.
It's good for a whole society to have educated people that can critically think, that can actually read,
problem solving. Yeah,
well, if we
read and reason and problem solve.
And we go with
the bullshit.
Again, Trump got a lot of people that also speak on a third grade level. And these are the same people, by the way, that because of the McNamara rule, I don't know if you remember the defense secretary, John McNamara.
Oh, in Vietnam?
He needed bodies for Vietnam.
Yeah.
So he started getting the dumbest motherfuckers he could, and all of them got killed. All of them got killed. And so they fucking literally passed a law, like if you're the lower 10 or 15% in brain power, you're not allowed in. But you're still allowed to fucking vote. And a lot of those motherfuckers voted for Trump. And that's what we're dealing with, dude. We've got a massive brain drain. And the people that are smart, the people that were fortunate to go to college or educated or have half a brain or a skill set, they're not going to stay here when the shit hits the fan. They're going to get the fuck out of here. So,
and those dummies, or the less intelligent, Uncle Bill, what do they say when you get in the service? They're like infantry.
Frontline infantry. Frontline infantry.
So you're like,
I'm in the rear with the gear, like fucking writing articles. Fuck that shit. You ain't shooting me, motherfucker. Like like my man Muhammad Ali said, ain't no I'm gonna use the, nobody in Vietnam ever called me the N-word. So that's all I'm saying about that. So
we love Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
So normally we talked about some doom scrolling. I think we covered a lot of that today, but I do want to finish, since we're up against it, with the something good, Gene. Give me some good news pertaining
fucking
to all
Cavs,
of it.
man. The Cleveland Cavaliers, bro. Did
What
you
was the
not
score
watch
of the
that
game?
game last night? They played the OCK last night. Two best records, and best record in the West, best record in the East. It was fantastic basketball. Again, Charles Barkley, they didn't have it on TNT last night, so they couldn't comment on how good the basketball was, as they bitched about how bad the basketball was because they only watched the legacy teams. It was a fantastic game. There were 30 fucking lead changes minimum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, and it went right up to the wire, and we pulled it off. And we're for real, but nobody believes it. We've got two bigs, sort of like when San Antonio had
David Robinson.
And what's the other one?
Who?
Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
We got two tall guys like that. They play great defense in the paint. One of them can shoot threes. We have two all-stars. We should probably have four. And it's fun for a city that can be as miserable as mine as a sports town sometimes, because I claim Cleveland as my own. Fuck Omaha. And mostly fuck Omaha because of Senator Deb Fisher and her fucking husband, who's a professor at the University of fucking Nebraska, not shaking Kamala Harris's hand. Hey, motherfucker,
yeah, that was bullshit.
Just in Nebraska are fucking called Nebraska nice, douchebag. We don't do that in Nebraska, not even racist. So go fuck yourself, old man. But anyway,
that was lame.
I claim Cleveland as my own. The Cavs are doing fucking great. We watch them. They're playing again tonight. They're just playing inspired basketball. They have something to prove. They're doing well. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Wouldn't even touch elbows. He's such a pile of dookie.
He's so white.
Shit. How many
guy's almost translucent.
Does this guy fucking teach? I mean, you're acting like fucking the black's gonna rub off on you, fucking old prick.
That dude could use a little color. He is fucking pale.
That guy. Fuck that guy, and Deb Fisher should be fucking embarrassed, and her fucking son looks like cross. Never mind. I'm not even gonna say.
Well,
I'm not gonna
like she married her dad.
But that was a terrible look.
Really bad.
And every white pundit in America tried to excuse it away. Oh, he had a cane. Bitch, I walked around for 2 weeks with a fucking cane. I could shake someone's cane using a fucking cane. Stop it. Stop it. That's called racism. And we need to get rid of that shit, because none of that shit's gonna get us healthcare or nice things.
No, man, it just keeps us divided and at each other's throats while they pick our pockets.
Well, I'm going to put this back up, because if you look at this gentleman, how many buttons he has. You got a lot of flag, of course.
Got a lot of flair on there. How many pieces of flair does he have?
He's wearing a very ill-fitting suit, which is something typical for a Nebraskan, but I won't. Beyond that, who cares?
That's the Trump style, man. Big and boxy. With
So,
a long tie.
Did you know that Omaha is the least druggy town in America? Like, they do the fewest amount of illicit drugs in Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, this fucking place is square as shit, dude. Every time I go back there, even sitting in the back of my mom's deck, you gotta be careful. People are out doing their lawn and doing shit. They'll call the popo on you. They don't give a fuck. They're Nebraska nice, but if they can throw your black ass in jail, believe me, they will.
Listen, I want to go to my good news part. We have 5 days of football that should be fairly interesting. It starts tonight. Notre Dame and Penn State. Tomorrow, Ohio State, Texas. So we're taking care of college football. Both should be good games. We'll see.
And Arizona got screwed. Arizona State.
Yeah. Well, old news.
You knew that was a long shot.
Saturday, Chargers and Texans, Steelers and Ravens. And then you roll into some Sunday playoff football as well. Broncos and Bills, Packers and Eagles, Commanders and Buccaneers will be the night game, I guess. And then Monday night is the Vikings and Rams. Should be some good football. I really hope the college stuff is entertaining. All the programs are top notch, but that's not a given.
Yeah. It'll be
Gene, you have
interesting.
any favorite in the college part of this?
No, I won't be watching it down, and I won't. I don't give a fuck. You know me, dude. I might listen in at some point. I haven't watched a snap of football in a month, I don't think. So,
all right.
I have no interest in that shit. I'm all about the Cavs right now. They're winning. I'm fair weather. I'm going with my Cavs. So, screw all that shit. Everybody else is the Browns are they're in where? They're in Costa Rica. They're in the Caribbean. They're done.
And just to top on your NBA, I lived in Houston during Hakeem's run, so I can appreciate good team basketball, which generally comes with a deep bench from the Kenny Smiths to the Maxwells, on top of obviously Hakeem the Dream, who I think is amazing. Then I moved on to Utah, so I got the Jazz too, Stockton to Malone, the flu game for MJ, Jordan, which was disheartening, but that was another good team. So when you talk about the Cavs, I have a warm spot for it because I appreciate it. I talked to a younger person yesterday about current NBA and some of those games like we talked about. Guy takes it down, 3-point line, clunks it off. It comes back outside the 3-point line, a rebound, go to the other 3-point line, clunk. I mean, I saw guys miss 7 straight shots on both sides.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I'm not asking for the Globetrotters, but hey,
not the Cavs, dude. Not the Cavs. Not
I hear you.
So there's some good shit out there. Hey, what was it like going to a basketball game in Utah besides very bright?
They did a nice job. They had an
It was a very bright crowd.
Very bright crowd, though, huh? Any people of color in that crowd?
There's a pretty big Samoan population there as well. So
okay.
We would have some people of color, sure. But yes.
I was curious.
A lot of white people.
That might be the whitest place on earth. I'm not quite sure, but it's one of them. So. How long did you live in Utah for?
I want to say 5 years, maybe.
Okay, so you had a good clip there.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good. I just wouldn't have been able to raise a family there. The Mormon element was really strong. Not that I'm against anybody's religious convictions, but I did see some neighbors that had kids. And I was younger, and they were mad at their parents because they weren't Mormon, and there was a lot of pressure from the Mormon kids. That's not my thing. Salt Lake City, I believe at the time, was 80% Democratic, which was fine, but it's still a Mormon city, Mormon state, so that would have been a problem.
Yeah, I used to love to come out to visit there, though.
Did you ever consider you guys living there and working there, or no?
Like I said, if you wanted to have a family, it wasn't the place for us. I'm not. I'm a half breed myself. What am I doing?
Yeah, no, fair enough.
We were back there a couple of summers ago.
You informed me, since you spent 5 years there, that it was going to be cold as balls at night when me and fucking Rosen RV'd there and spent the fucking night there and didn't have a heater.
It's like high desert, buddy. Beautiful.
Dude, that was cold. But dude, on the way out to Cali, we had a great time. We stopped in where was it? Green River Valley for the Melon Festival, which was not what I was expecting.
Wrong kind of melons, because Bill had a different mindset back then. But
I did. But dude, I remember the RV place we stayed in was really nice. We were able to watch Sunday football and get baked and hang out all day. It was great.
And I had no earthly idea how to actually even operate an RV, because I literally just bought it the week before and hopped in it and started fucking driving it. It was
such a Gene thing.
It was an insane trip to make it out, and I only lost one bumper. So.
Wow. I think was that when I was tried driving it. Did I back it up or something?
No, I was parked next to a retaining wall somewhere. It might have been in Utah or Nevada or something. And someone parked in front of me, and I had to make a turn to get past this Volkswagen Beetle in the back of my. I didn't know how RVs worked back then. So,
no, you didn't.
I was just parked far too close to an object, and you can't make a turn like that, like a sharp turn.
Cruise ship turn.
You got it to Cleveland, to San Diego, and back. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, back to St. Louis. Yeah, and then back to it was
and back to Ohio.
After that, I knew how to drive an RV. I knew how to use an RV. there's really not a lot of regulation on driving an RV.
Stay in
You
your
can
lane,
drive it up
buddy.
to 39, 40 feet, and all you need is a driver's license. You don't have to know a lot of shit. You can kind of learn by fire like I did. So,
Yeah.
Dude, the RV parks were nice. Remember the one in outside of Vegas had a casino.
I remember the last one we stayed in La Jolla, they were going to sell because the property was so valuable. It was right on the pier, dude. It was right on the water, remember?
Mm-hmm.
They had landline phones you could hook up. I remember that. They had catering, like they had butlers that would bring you shit. It was an amazing RV park. I still to this day haven't seen an RV park that nice. I don't even know what it is today. It's probably like $2 million condos. So I have no idea.
It probably is, yeah. But
Yeah,
Uncle Bill.
we visited my hillbilly friend Denise.
that's right. I remember Denise.
Mhm.
Uncle
A lot
Bill,
of
you got
hillbillies in San Diego, by the way. You didn't tell me that there were going to be so many like redneckish, hillbilly-ish type of people in San Diego. I thought it was just all like,
Yeah.
No.
Well, a lot of it depended on what part of San Diego
No, really?
you were in, but she lived in La Jolla, and it turned out she was like San Diego royalty. Her brother was a professional surfer. Her dad had been a founder of the Wind and Sea, which was my favorite beach in San Diego, the Wind and Sea Surf Club. So
Right.
he was kind of royalty.
What happened to Denise? Do you remember, or have you talked to her or no?
Oh God, no! We kind of fell out of touch after I left. We kind of kept in touch for a bit, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if I would have moved to Missouri like you. I know you want to hang out with your brother and be Uncle Bill and shit, dude, but you were in La Jolla. I don't know if I would have ever fucking left. What year did you leave?
That was 2003, October
Oh
of 2003.
That place was beautiful. Even
it was
that
a tough
shitty
place
house
to
you
leave.
lived in had an amazing view. I mean, it was incredible.
Dude, that house is still there. I am so glad it's still there. It was a basic ranch house on the side of Mount Helix. Everything around it was a mini mansion.
Yeah.
And apparently there was an older couple. I think they'd been in the service. They lived out in the sticks of San Diego, and they kept the house. They just rented it out, and it is renovated, but it's still there. That place had an amazing view. I love that place.
Yeah,
it was
cool.
great.
That was a good
You'll have
trip.
to revisit that another day. Uncle
All
Bill,
right.
that's your happy notes. You're done. Sorry.
Okay. It was a happy place to be.
You used it
Fair
up.
enough.
So go
Happy
back to your
ending,
happy
bud.
place.
Fair
All right.
enough.
Hopefully we'll talk on Saturday, guys.
Okay.
All right, man. Let me know.
Have a good rest
Hey,
of the day.
I gotta say, great job on the F words. Very few.
Amen.
I'm getting better.
Okay.
I still feel like I have a bag of dicks in my mouth when I talk, but I'm still waiting on
Yeah.
this Amazon package, so my heart's
Don't
racing
floss
a
so
little bit.
hard. I get that sometimes too. If you floss too hard,
Thank
Bro,
you, Uncle Bill.
I live to floss hard.
I love to floss. I know.
All
but
right,
not too
guys.
hard.
It's
Try
my
the
thing.
tape.
It's
Try
my
the tape.
thing. It's almost
Pick up
like
the
Anthony
gentle-
Scalia, where he wore that crown of thorns around his thigh, like one of those weird ass Catholics. And all right,
Opus Dei.
sorry, Rob. We'll go. I'll talk
Try
to you
the
guys
tape.
later. I'll
You'll
see you
thank
Hey,
it.
Saturday.
fellas.
All right, bye.